The Reddit mods are fighting back against Ethan Klein in the ongoing legal battle between Ethan Klein and the Hassan orbiters Denim Frogan and formerly Casey Tron, who's now joined the Ethan Klein team. But we now have new filings, new stuff that just has come out that I'm going to give you an update today on the legal mindset. We teach you to be your own judge. I'm Andrew Esquire, American attorney, and this is a fast facts video, the quick and dirty version of the latest and legal news. So let's get over to it with the Reddit mods fighting back against Discovery. Obviously, we have James Bond supervillain Ethan Klein over here. And as you guys know, the Reddit mods are a party to this as they were included based on their alleged collusion with the content creators. So we already know that basically the status up to today is that Casey Tron has recently settled, obviously paying him all of our legal fund, the public apology, agreeing to testify. But the Reddit mods are desperately trying to fight Discovery and the revelation of their true identities. That is their ultimate fear here. And what has just happened is Ethan Klein has filed a response and provided additional evidence that appearing to show collusion between H3 Snark and the creators. So this is one thing that, once again, it's not the entirety of the claim. And I think that's one of the errors that the mods make and that the kind of Denim's Frogan side makes, is they attempt to say that's all the case. No, copyright goes further than just that particular collusion. You can still have copyright infringement without some sort of conspiracy to collude. However, it's a major element, and it does go to towards proving that this was intended as a market substitute for Ethan Klein's content nuke of Hassan Piker.
Well, guys, if you enjoyed not giving any views to that terrible video, follow, subscribe, throw a prime if you like the content, if you enjoyed your time here.
So the mods have now filed just lately motions in opposition to quash the reply and the evidence. These are the two documents filed. You can see they're filed on 12/18. And they're filed in the case over here. So you can kind of get that case number and see the two filings here, the joint declaration and the Doe's response. So these two things were filed very, very recently, and that's what we're going to be summarizing on this Fast Facts video. So what's their new arguments? What are they saying in these two documents? And I'll go over these on separate slides. So in one document, first of all, Reddit mods argue that they've done everything correct procedurally. Now, this is something you guys really need to understand, and I'm going to say it multiple times. Civil lawsuits that are non-criminal, are often won or lost on procedure. It may seem like a ticky-tacky minor thing, but that's actually really, really important. And that's why you pay a lot of these litigators the big bucks, is to make sure that they get all that procedure right, that they do everything right under local, state, federal rules, because one little mistake can cost the whole case. The case can be completely over based on one procedural error, one failure to file, et cetera, et cetera. So they're arguing that they've done everything right procedurally, but Ethan is bad. Ethan has done things wrong in terms of evidence and procedure. So they've said their evidence, the evidence they've submitted, is good, right? So it's good evidence. It's evidence that is great. It's fantastic. And Ethan's is bad. Ethan's lawyer shouldn't be able to respond or submit evidence. So they kind of are saying at this time it's procedurally inappropriate. The evidence, they're objecting to a lot of problems with the evidence. So saying at this point, you need to quash, meaning get rid of what he filed in this case. Ethan's evidence, they're arguing that Ethan's evidence and response should be struck from the record, that it's irrelevant and misrepresenting. So they go with this one individual, Dartois, and they're saying Dartois was not a snark mod. And they're also saying that, hey, this communications with Denims, guess what? Denims ghosted him. Denims didn't respond to him. So because Denims didn't respond, you can't really show collusion. And they also make, and this is a good point, that not all critics are allied with that H3 Snark. That is true, right? So it is a truthful statement that not everybody that is critical of Ethan Klein is automatically in the camp of H3 Snark and communicating with the content creators. That's true. That's a factual statement. The issue with that is, and I'm just going to go into this right now, is that is what Discovery is for. That's the whole point of subpoenas. It's the whole point of depositions, to figure out what is true and what is not true, and to figure out which critics are truly allied with H3 and not, or the Snark subreddit or not, right? So that's the whole point of the process. The whole point of the process is to get to the truth. And the truth is, yes, there will be some people probably that Ethan Klein tries to attach to these mods or tries to attach to the content creators, and they're really not that involved. They're really not as involved as maybe Klein is making them out to be. That is true. However, they're there probably are some, and we need to get all of the mail, all the messages, all the emails, every piece of communication we need to have in order to discover that, right? In order to know whether that's true or not. They're trying to say that Ethan's evidence is also legally garbage. So stuff like hearsay, without personal knowledge, lacking foundation, not authenticated, irrelevant, not the best evidence. These are all objections, legal objections to evidence. And they're throwing kind of the kitchen sink of objections and saying, hey, it doesn't meet these evidentiary standards. This is one document. In the next document, they're arguing that Ethan improperly responded and he has a blatant sense of entitlement. Now, once again, that is kind of cute. It is not, I will say this, it is not illegal, or it is not automatically make you, once again, a disqualified party or someone who's not able to submit evidence, even if you're evil. Evil people file lawsuits all the time. Evil, entitled, snobby, stuck-up people are still filing lawsuits all the time. In fact, those might even be a lot of the lawsuits, right? So his sense of entitlement does not necessarily disqualify anything here. It would only be if he violated a rule and the judge says, no, you actually violated this rule. We've got to roll this back. You can be as arrogant and as entitled as you want. That might put off your fans, but that's your right, and you can be the way you want to be. The mods claim to be defending constitutionally protected speech as anonymous online critics. That's their position. That's kind of their keynote there, is that they're just these constitutionally protected people that need to stay anonymous online forever. They're also claiming that they had no knowledge and they could not have known of any of the RH3 SMARC, nice scuff there, users privately communicating with Denims or any other creator. So they're saying they had no way to know what they're saying privately. So if these people are DMing or messaging or on Discord or anywhere else, they can't control everybody. Fair enough point. So we do need to figure out, what do they know? What do they not know? What were they privy to? What do they not know? So if they did see certain things, we need to know that. And that's where depositions come in, subpoenas come in. That's where Reddit comes in, going through their files, seeing what they did see or didn't see. Maybe we can see some read receipts. Who knows? That might get to the truth of that. The last one, and this is something that is very, very prominent through all of their filings, is the Reddit mods claim to be afraid of being exposed and receiving hostility. They claim that their family, friends, etc., are all going to be put in focus here. And of course, listen, when you're on the internet, that's going to happen. People are going to come and look up and bother people that are tangentially related to you, etc. That is very true. However, that also happens in court proceedings, and all the other parties have their names, information out there. Denims, Frogan, Casey-tron, a lot of them have their personal information out there. To me, that argument is the weakest of the arguments, because that's just what a court process literally is, getting all the information out there, exposing it, and getting to the truth. You don't get to have a magical shield because you're online. That doesn't really work that way. So my judgment here is that the outcome of these particular filings depends on the temperament of the judge and the interpretation of the procedural rules. And once again, civil lawsuits are won or lost on procedure, and the judge himself can have a feeling one way or another on that. So some judges are very stickler for rules. Some of them like more transparency. They're kind of like, oh, well, we're going to allow this in because we're going to side on the side of more evidence is good. We want transparency. We want everybody to know what's going on. So the judge could very well just let this in. The general trend overall is to allow evidence, particularly ones that will be proven or kind of threshed out through the process of discovery, deposition, etc. So I think this leans on the side of admissibility, right? However, it doesn't meet the criteria for admissibility. So they does need to be relevant, have, proper foundation, etc. It does need to meet the criteria, but I do think this is something that at this point probably more likely to be admitted. And the thing is, this evidence is likely to be admitted at some point anyways, because it could come out through other methods, through other subpoenas or depositions, and come in that way. So I don't think they're going to get this one and win forever, but it's always possible that the judge could say, hey, we're not going to allow this evidence now. We're going to bring this evidence up later. It's going to come up through a different venue, right? So it is possible that the judge could rule in the mod's favor. I'm very interested to see how this one comes out, because this is kind of one of those things where while the mods accuse Ethan of dragging the case out, they're really dragging it out too by fighting this, by slowing this down, when this evidence is probably going to come out no matter what. What do you guys think in the comments below? Let me know, and I'll catch you on